You have sent already.
Yeah, and then I was told I'd get a case number because I went in person to Helsinki, and they gave me a case number of an internal police investigation, but the police never gave that investigation to the prosecutors. So for me, that's like pretty advanced corruption, and it's pretty clear. It's on your own website that you investigate police claims against police, which were pretty serious. I think it's totally reasonable if a police commits a crime and then threatens you with violence during the commissioning of that crime. That's a credible threat to murder you. Now you might say, well, police are trained and follow the rules or whatever, and they won't use lethal force. But well,
Sorry to interrupt you, but
they're breaking the
so
rules
this
already.
case is
Well, I'll give you the
any.
number. I'll give you the number the police gave me. Like I don't know how the law works. I don't like it's starting to be a joke. The law in Finland. So I don't know if there's is there the rule of law
It's
or
case
not.
against police.
Yeah, the 5500 S 616722 is the police investigation number.
5500
S
S
616722.
6167.
And this number is just on a blank piece of paper, right? And there's not my name, there's not the claims, there's nothing. There's just this number, there's the police that filed it, Anna Hirvensalo, and that's it. And they said it was an internal police investigation, and that a prosecutor would phone me.
Did you say Anna Hirvensalo?
Yeah. So
And that's
it's
the
just,
name of the police.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Well, it just says name and contact information of the pre-trial investigation official that that registered the report. It says Anna Hirvensalo, like that, and that's what they just gave me this paper. I'm pretty sure that was the name of the
What's
person.
your name?
My name is Eric Wissens, ErikWissenz.
Just a moment, please. Joku Erik jotain ja poliisin rikosnumero. Minä en saa sukunimestä selvää. Sitä ei nyt ole varmaan. Onko se liian paljon? Tää on joku syyttäjän nimi tai jotakin. Ei hän ole varma kenen nimi toi on, mutta tämmöinen. Ei tästä on nyt tämmöinen yksi. I'm calling from Finland.
I'm calling from Switzerland because I don't want to be killed by police, so I'm not gonna stay or arrested for some. They charged me with a crime that doesn't exist. They phoned me to say I filed last year, like in the spring, claims of I go in person to Tampere police station, explain extortion, money laundering, all sorts of like organized crime. They say to register in the system. I emailed the National Bureau of Police. I say like, okay, there's what I think is money laundering, but I don't want to.
Just a moment, please.
Uh,
I'm calling from mobile.
I'm calling from Switzerland. I'm calling from a Skype line, just for the. I can phone back on a phone number,
All right.
but I don't want just to save cost. I can give you my number
Yes.
in Finland.
Yes. Please hold on. on nettipuhelu ja Sveitsistä. Nettipuhelu. Ei hänellä ole mitään numeroa tässä.
I can give you my Finnish number.
Sorry?
I can give you my Finnish number and my Swiss number.
Yes, please.
Well, my Finnish number
Finnish number, please.
04 58
04
58
8
59
59
14
144
just a minute. 1457. Oh, you say, did I say 5? Wait, 04 58 59 1457.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. We are calling you back.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. See you.
Goodbye.
Yes, hello. I called a bit earlier, like I think 10, 15 minutes later, and the prosecutor said that she would phone me back on my Finnish number because I'm in Switzerland. And I just wanted to make sure you guys have the right number and also that the number works, which clearly does.
Do you have a case in some
I,
prosecution?
I can give you the police case number. But the case is against police, and the police never gave the case number to you guys. At least I phoned like last week and a few weeks ago, and prosecutors have no. They said they don't have any information about the case number. So they said that they'd make me a new case number. I can give you the old case number if you want.
Okay.
Pardon?
So you have some case number. I can check out.
Yeah. 5500 slash S
Yes.
slash 6167 slash 22. So 5500 S 616722. Sorry. So 6167 in the middle.
And that was against police.
I have maybe, I don't know, upwards of 100 claims against many people. I was told by the Justice Commissioner and the Parliamentary Ombudsman that I can file claims in person at police station. But since the police there, when they heard I had claims against police, then they said they can't file all of the claims. That an investigator would contact me to discuss the claims, which involves obviously against police, but also against many other people. And the mainly like so there's I guess for like the big ones I guess are against police and a judge for laundering money or helping to launder money. And then like physically assaulting me from my point of view, and then physically intimidating me and defrauding me of my rights to file criminal claims. Because I first go to Tikkurila, and they violently kick me out after listening to me for like an hour and a half. When they realize I've already put all this in the system, and the Tampere police just like swept it under the rug, never even called me about my claims, but did call me to say they were investigating me for a crime that they then couldn't explain what the crime even was. They said I was suspected of the crime of sending too many messages. Well, the chief of the Tikkurila police station, when we got to this part of the story, he said it before me. Well, that's not a crime. So to cover up money laundering, police in Tampere, like investigate me instead, to try to intimidate me, because everybody thinks if I sign severance, everyone's problems goes away. But I don't like money laundering. I'm not going to participate in a cover-up of money laundering. It pays for all the terrible things in society, right? Like organized crime, they aren't trafficking humans and raping kids and smuggling narcotics and assassinating people and corrupting governments all around the world for fun. It's not a hobby. They're doing it for the money. So I'm not going to let my business, my reputation, my documents be used to launder money. I'm not going to participate in a cover-up and sign severance, even if they offer me €1 million. So they certainly, whatever. I don't know what the police were thinking, but they certainly were told a story that I should sign the deal and I'll get $1 million and whatever, and then everybody's problems are solved. Well, except, the people affected by organized crime and money laundering, their problems aren't solved by a cover-up. So then they investigate me for crime, to put pressure on me, because whatever, previous bullshit didn't work. So I don't know. I don't know why the police would participate, would just go directly to the people I accuse of laundering money and extorting me, and all sorts of other crimes, all the corporate crimes and auditing crimes, and then just take what they hear from attorneys representing people I accuse of laundering money at face value, and then investigate me for a crime instead. But it's obviously a serious problem. Then they refuse. The police officer tells me on the phone I have a right to refuse the case being closed. And my right as a suspect. So I'm like, great, I exercise that right, and I confess to this crime. So you do this sort of corruption with somebody who knows how the system works. Well, how do you mess this kind of cover-up up? You just confess to the bullshit crime. And then the fucking police officer just panics. But okay, she accepts that it takes over an hour for her to accept that I can come in she tells me she's doing the pretrial investigation into this crime of sending too many messages. And then after an hour of trying to get out of it, she eventually accepts that I can come into the police station for questioning. She'll question me next week, and she'll send me times to come in for questioning. She then sends me an email right after that call saying that she's going to send me times to come in for questioning. That's like a Friday. The next Monday morning, she sends me an email that she talked to her superior, and they won't let me come in for questioning. They won't let me refuse closing the case because it's never been done before. Again, if you do this sort of cover-up and corruption with somebody who knows basic argumentation and valid argument forms, right? That's never been done before is not a legal reason to disrespect my rights. I only know about because she told me. If they just said, well, we're closing the investigation, there's nothing you can do, I'd be like, okay. But she tells me on the phone my rights as a suspect. And these are the fundamental rights that, police investigating a suspect, should know about. And I think the rule is that you have to tell the suspect about it. And then I think the third rule about that is you got to respect the rights you just explained to the suspect they have. So I confessed to this crime to the police officer. I confessed to the crime on emergency services. I phoned them later. I confessed to the crime to another police officer I talked to on the phone, I'm pretty sure. And then and also to a judge, directly to a judge. So anyways, you can't have people confessing to crimes that don't exist without then actually doing something about the corruption, because it's defamation, obviously, aggravated defamation for police to accuse you of a crime that doesn't exist. And she can't. I'm like, where is in the law does it say you can't send too many messages? You can send 10 messages, but not 11. And why did they invent this crime that doesn't exist? To avoid putting the evidence, the actual messages, which my ex-wife doesn't like, but most of it, 90% of it, is just explaining how the money laundering worked, which she doesn't like to hear, that the company was being used to launder money and other board members were helping to launder money. Not because they really understood what they were doing, but just because they were getting stuff, they were getting favors from the main guy laundering money. So yeah, my ex-wife doesn't like to hear that, but if you're my ex-wife's attorney, okay, you can convince my ex-wife that I'm somehow harassing her by telling her stuff she doesn't want to hear. But she's like a board member of a corporation, and these are all legal correspondence from the biggest shareholder. And it turns out I own 51% of the company. Anyways, that's like serious police corruption. I reported in Tikkurila. Then they closed my investigations, because I filed two claims of the money laundering and extortion, because the guy blackmails me, tells me I'm not even legitimate CEO. I have no right to represent myself as CEO. I don't even need to be dismissed as CEO because I'm not CEO. And if I don't, it even literally says any other course of action, doing anything else, would result in serious accusations being revealed and the reputation and the company being damaged. Right? He literally states, if you don't do it as I say, serious accusations will be revealed and you'll be damaged and your company will be damaged, which is my property. He's threatening to damage my property unless I do as he says. So it's obvious blackmail, obvious money laundering. The ex-president of Angola, it's like Angola, Namibia, Ghana, the highest money laundering, red flaggy countries you can find. Anyways, police don't do anything about that. They access my email. I negotiate back my email. I open the logs. It's just filled with Switzerland. During the time, I didn't even have access to my email. Some of them, one message at least, is even open. The only message would be logical to open from the ambassador, the Finnish ambassador to Iceland. I put this in the police system, and they never phone me about this, the Tampere police. They never phone me about this, but somehow they have time to get together and not only come up with this crime of sending too many messages. My ex-wife also tells me that they brainstormed, they went through our last physical encounters to see if they could get me on sexual harassment. So if you do this kind of level of corruption and plus humiliating me, going through my sexual history to see, and they convinced my ex-wife I've sexually harassed her, just that, they can't prove it. What? So they convinced my ex-wife, we have children together, that I'm a criminal, just to manipulate her. Because had anyone said you should, I've been offering during this whole time, I'm offering mediation with a third party exterior attorney. Just sit down with my ex-wife and sort things out. But if that happened, because any way you look at it, we have a large majority of shares, and had we sat down with a third party attorney who's this conflict isn't good, and reading somebody's emails, spying on them, that's not good either. And all of this should be, and the money laundering does sound extremely suspicious and so on. Had we talked to, had a third party professional talked with me and my ex-wife, everything would have been resolved. So the only way to manipulate her, to keep the conflict going, to cover up money laundering, to cover up attorneys helping to money launder money, etc., right, is to convince my ex-wife I'm a criminal and therefore I can't be discussed with and I can't be negotiated with. That's the only way. But you have to come up with something better than sending too many messages. Because I'm where in the law does it say you can't send too many messages without reference to the content of the messages? And in business correspondence, business generates a huge amount of emails and messages. And it's in the context of a negotiation that I didn't even start. I'm invited to participate in a negotiation. I say, okay, but I'm going to express myself. As you see, I like to talk. I like to express my point of view or whatever. And that's not a crime. So the police can't explain why it's a crime. I confess to it. How do you they say there was a credible evidence that I committed this crime and I'm a suspect. Well, I'm pretty sure my fundamental right as a suspect is I can confess to the crime and pay my debts to society. So all this, I then go to Tikkurila and they listen to me. The police chief of Tikkurila confirms that all my points of view of what's a crime, reading my emails, well, that's a crime. Oh yeah, obviously it's a crime. And the only reason it's not taken seriously is because I'm a man. If I was a woman, of course, of course I have a right to privacy. A man can't just look in my emails. And it's privileged correspondence with auditors, with attorneys. The email exists before the company even exists. So it's my personal life before. It was just my personal email for a long time. So anyways, everyone agrees. Every attorney, every police officer is well, that's a crime. But okay, well, where's the criminal investigation of that? And it's obvious, like they while they're threatening me with NDA breaches and 300,000 euros of NDA breaches, they shut off my email and look in my email. Like the motivation is also obviously criminal. It's not some accident. Oh, well, that's a crime. The extortion is a crime. The money laundering is obvious money laundering. Oh, there's all sorts of bribery, auditing, violating the Auditing Act and the Companies Act, etc., etc., etc. And I report all this. The chief of police of Tampere station agrees with me because I'm not going back to Tampere. And they get rid of my cases by talking to an attorney that doesn't represent me. I talked to him for an hour, and he said he's not representing me. And the police phone him up somehow, and this attorney tells them I have no case about anything, even though he also agreed that reading my emails is a crime, that obviously that's something. Right? Every attorney and police officer, like you talk to attorneys, like, well, my colleagues then shut off my email during a negotiation and accessed my email. Every single attorney, well, that's a crime. Do you have evidence? And then I'm like, well, yeah, I negotiated back access to my email and I got the logs. And then they're like, oh, okay. So like, obviously, so this attorney, he agrees that that's the email thing is obviously a crime, but he tells police I have a case about nothing, and it's in my interest for the cases to be closed. He doesn't even talk to me. And he doesn't represent me, no power of attorney. Like, how can you possibly do business in Finland if attorneys can just randomly represent you to the police and make decisions on your behalf without even having power of attorney, much less asking my permission? During the same time, I'm sending emails that I want to exercise this right to refuse the investigation being closed. And then to explain so it's just madness. And at some point, either prosecutors want to restore credibility to Finnish law enforcement, or, it's going to be a pretty big embarrassment forever. Because what do all professionals tell me? Transparency International, the money laundering lawyers here in Switzerland, and the Parliamentary Ombudsman of Finland and the Justice Commissioner's Office both told me exactly they all tell me the same thing. Go public. Why? And as soon as possible, go public. Which is what I'm doing to do. I'm setting up to do. I've made the interview with the CEO of ABBA, of the company here I'm part of. But why do they say go public? Right? Because nobody has any faith in law enforcement going after organized crime. But in this particular case, it's so amazing. Like, it's not some bureaucratic mistakes or people being lazy or whatever. It's such amazingly obvious corruption that it's so easy to prove. It's in email, in recordings. That's going to be, I don't know. So, and I'd rather, the prosecutors be like, yeah, well, we should apply the law at some point. People, even attorneys, the law applies to them, and police, and so on. And then you can settle with people and make your jobs a lot easier, right? I'll give you the opportunity to go and settle with the people that aren't criminals. You can settle with my ex-colleagues, and then they give you all the evidence. It's going to be a lot easier than me refusing to settle with them, going public. And then I'm in Switzerland, so if you're like, oh, well, we can just harass him more and arrest him or whatever, or accuse him of other bullshit crimes or whatever, well, I'm just going to stay in Switzerland. And you're going to have a hard time accusing me of crimes that don't exist and getting me extradited from Switzerland on crimes that don't exist. So, the principle that everybody's a moron, no one knows how the law works. I run a corporation for 10 years. I know how the law works. I know how the institutions work. I've interacted with attorneys a lot. And I've interacted, the main job of running a corporation is defending the interests against shady, criminal, or limit criminal, anyways, bullshit attorneys, right? You get claims all the time, people wanting stuff, right? So I've learned to deal with attorneys that are bad faith. So anyways, so this is, I go in person to Helsinki. I report all of these claims. They say an investigator, a prosecutor is going to phone me. This was in February. Right? No prosecutor ever phones me. No one ever phones. No one's ever phoned me. Pardon?
Yes. The case you mentioned, the 5500S.
Yes.
167. It is still ongoing in the Helsinki.
But how's that possible? It says on your website only prosecutors. It's an obvious cover-up. If the prosecutors have never heard of my case, by definition, it's a cover-up. And I've phoned twice the prosecutor's office, and they say have nothing on my case.
Helsinki police station.
Pardon?
The case you mentioned, the 5500S 767, 6167.
But how is it possible to investigate without talking to me? Because nothing.
Station. It's not.
How is it possible? How is no? But how is that possible? Because nothing is on the page. It's a blank page. How? What are they investigating? How do they know what claims?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's corruption, right? And and it's claims against police. It says on your website. It says on your website.
In Helsinki police station.
Yeah, but it says on your website only prosecutors can investigate claims against police. And that's another. I have an email. I have an email from a senior constable saying if you think the police.
Been talking with Tarmo Tanner. I
Who?
can give you his number. Tarmo Tanner.
Well, who's he?
He's
Like,
the one that is.
is he a police? Is he a prosecutor, or is he
Head
a,
of
or is he
head of the investigation.
is he a prosecutor, or is he a police officer?
He's a prosecutor.
Okay, well, yeah, that gave me if I.
He's
But I want you guys.
leading the.
Sure, but why doesn't he phone me? How does he know he's in? What is he? How does he know? Like nothing is recorded. The police officers.
Know that you have been discussing with him.
Pardon? I haven't talked to him.
I've been told that you have been discussing with Tarmo Tanner before.
What? No, I've not. I've never heard of this name before. No one's ever phoned me, except to say that I was in. Except it's Anna. I'm not Anna. I mean, Senior Constable Kyrkio Topaz. She's the only police officer or prosecutor or whatever that ever phones me. I only get phone called once to say I'm under investigation of a crime. Like, if not, no one has ever phoned me since a year of reporting money laundering, extortion, serious organized crime, and so on. So I'm not discussing with anybody else. I phoned the police.
But the case you mentioned is in Helsinki police station.
Yeah, but how's that? How is it possible that they're investigating if they don't know what the claims are?
They will.
It's a blank piece of paper
Well, yes,
without my name, without any of the
all
claims.
there. It hasn't come to our office.
Yeah, but why? Maybe you have to.
You should-
Well, can I? Well, this guy. Well, this guy's lying. This guy's lying. Well, this guy's lying to you. So I'd like to report him for a crime, because he's not talked to me. I'm not in discussing with this Tarmo guy. Never heard of his name before. No one hasn't phoned me. And go into my phone logs, or I'll send you my phone logs. No one's known. His number's never phoned me. And I was told Mia, that somebody called Mia was investigating when I phoned. And then I was given a number of a person named Mia something. I have it written down somewhere. But anyways, I can give you the number because I phoned and texted a lot of times. I was told she was investigating. But how do you do an investigation without even knowing what the claims are?
I am a registrar here. I don't investigate anything.
Well, maybe put me in contact with a prosecutor. I don't know, like, or just talk to your colleagues. Like, my next step is going to go public.
Yes,
Like,
so
I just record everything.
The one who is investigating the police criminal cases.
But well, maybe put me in contact with that person. Because I don't see this person. You say this person's been discussing with me. I've never heard of their name before.
No,
I've certainly never.
he's now having his lunch. He's not available just now.
But okay, well, I'll just stay on the phone until his lunch is done.
Where you can call.
What?
If I give his number, you can call him later.
Okay, great.
Yes. It's the 029
Yeah.
56 20 828.
Great. Well, I guess I'll call in the afternoon, I guess. But did you say he will discuss with me, or he's already discussed with me somehow?
I don't know. He has. I'm not working in the police.
Okay. Well, anyways, you should tell your colleagues that if they don't want everything to go public, from somebody in Switzerland, and I'm on the board of a corporation here. I ran a corporation in Finland for over a decade as chair and CEO and so on. So it's like you have to ask yourself if my word, if it's not credible that a chair and CEO of a decade reports money laundering, that can just be dismissed without ever talking to them, right? Well, whose word is credible?
I don't know. I just know that your case, the number you mentioned, is still in
Well,
Helsinki.
how's that possible? Because I phoned last week. I phoned the week before. I phoned 2 weeks ago, and they said that you said there was nothing. Yeah, well, the prosecutor said there was nothing about my case number. How's that possible? Because I phoned twice, and twice the prosecutor's office told me they had nothing about this number. So how is it possible that suddenly now there's a case about this number when twice there was nothing about it?
It is in police.
Why? But why? It's your own website says like you can go to the prosecutor's website. You can click on processing of a criminal matter. You can go down to criminal matters involving the police. In matters involving the police, the prosecutor handles the case from the pretrial investigation stage all the way to the court proceedings. So stop telling me it's a police matter. If you the more you say it's a police matter, the more it's like, well, police are covering up crimes involving police.
You mentioned is still in Helsinki police station.
Yeah, well, how's that possible? And I'm also accusing a judge of laundering money.
I gave you the number to Tarmo Tanner now. If you want to discuss with him.
Yeah, I will. I'm just like
Yes, but here.
Shouldn't the prosecutor's office be able to explain how what you're just saying is compatible with what your own website says about criminal matters involving police? It's literally like the second page. You go to your website, you click on processing of a criminal matter, you go down, there's a big red box.
I don't know anything about those.
Well, who does? Maybe put me in maybe who does? Who does?
Yes, I tried to give you the number where you can call and ask.
Yeah, but I phoned the prosecutor's office. But somebody things should be citing the law. If I phone, but the basic matters of law should be clear, right? I phone the prosecutor's office. I have a basic question of law. It's not about my case. It's about, well, I made claims against police, and on your own website it says the prosecutor handles the case from the pretrial investigation stage all the way to the court proceedings. And the reason the police said that they're not going to.
You have to talk with Tarmo Tanner. I don't
Yeah, but why?
know anything about those cases. Yes.
Well, then, okay. Well, then.
If you call him now.
I will call him. I don't know, maybe the number's wrong. Anyways, the number doesn't go to anybody. It's just like a invalid number.
Do you know the prosecutor's name?
Tarmo something.
Tarmo.
Yeah.
Tarmo Tanner. Could it be?
I think so. I didn't catch the last name because I got the phone number.
Yes. Can you tell me the number so I can see if it's the right number?
02956028828.
5620.
295602828 is what I had written down.
029.
Yeah.
556.
Yeah. Yeah.
08.
02828.
Yeah.
But it doesn't go anywhere. Maybe I noted it down wrong. But I can give you my case number because they said it was associated with my case number.
You're still in the switchboard, so I have to connect you to someone.
Okay.
One moment.
tieto?
Terve. Yeah, I called earlier this morning, and I was given a prosecutor's name and number to call. But the number, maybe I noted it down wrong, but the number is just like an invalid number, it doesn't go anywhere.
So, what is your name?
My name's Eric Wizins, and I can give you the case number.
I heard that you before talked with our Maria Sevon before.
Yeah, maybe, but she said,
About
well,
this case. Yeah.
this morning, well, is she like not a prosecutor, but a registrar or something? Then, yeah, I talked with somebody this morning who then said to call Tarmo, and she gave me a number, but the number doesn't go anywhere.
So did you have you waited for Tarmo Tanne to call you back, or
Well, I was told to phone in the afternoon. I was told they were having lunch, but I could phone back in the afternoon.
did you talk to Mr. Tanner or?
No. I only talked to a woman this morning who was not a prosecutor, just a registrar.
Yes. But you also talked to Maria Sevon. Just a minute, please. Yes. Joo, mä olin ottanut se vahingossa 2021. Tänä vuonna vaan PTR jo. Joo, sori, mä olin just vastaamassa sulle. Joo, sorry Tarmo. Yeah, sorry for this because it was a little busy that before.
Okay.
Yeah. But you talked to Maria Sevon before, I heard.
I don't know the name.
Who she's talking to. Yeah.
I
I suppose it was okay.
Pardon?
So I suppose it was okay. This is your question before in the morning.
No, my question never got answered.
Okay. And you asked the prosecutor to call you back.
Well, I want a phone. Like, I don't know. I'm told people will phone me all the time. No one ever phones me. No one's phoned me since a year. The only person from the government that has phoned me since a year, all this chaos started, was a senior police constable to say she was investigating me for a crime. A crime that I confessed to. So why can I just leave the country after confessing to a crime? I'm now in Switzerland. So, like...
Are you now in Switzerland?
Yeah. I'm not going to stay around in Finland and deal with police corruption or whatever. Maybe you guys just put me in jail or whatever to intimidate me or whatnot. Like, you've made one fake crime that the police officer could not tell me where in the law it was a crime. She says she's the pre-trial investigator. I've been suspected of a crime. I've been suspected of the crime of sending too many messages. So that's the only phone call I ever get from the government, police, prosecutor, or otherwise since a year. Of reporting money laundering. As a chair and CEO and so on of a corporation since a year, I'm a member of a board of a corporation here in Switzerland. Like, if my kind of profile reporting money laundering is not good enough reason to even phone me once, like, whose is?
Yes.
Who is? Right?
If your name is Eric Wissen, so
Yes.
I have seen you have sent messages to our office, and the case is open at the moment.
Yeah, well, I was told I would get a phone call from the investigator who can only be the prosecutor. That was February. I hang around. I think they tell me I'm going to get a phone call like the next day, and they say they can't. Like my paper about this case is blank. So there's not the claims. They say they can't. The police say because it involves also corruption claims against police, that they can't even write down what the claims are. So how is there an investigation without even knowing what the claims are? Because it's just a blank piece of paper, right? It says time of reporting, blank. Place of reporting, blank. Type of offense or incident, blank. Time and place of the...
Just a minute.
So how do you do an investigation with a blank piece of paper?
A little moment, please. Yeah.
So,
Yes, I talked to my colleague who has talked before with you today, Maria Sevon, and she said that you would like to talk to Tarmo Tanner, but...
I don't know. I would like to talk to somebody. I would like to come back to Finland.
Moment.
I would like to come back to Finland to see my kids. I would like this to be handled by professionals, just following the law and respecting my rights and so on. At some point in time, like.
Would it be okay for you if I call Tarmo Tanne call you back, because at the moment he is occupied.
Okay, well then, can you
Because Maria Sevu, the woman whom you have talked before today, she said that the case you asked for is not here in our office, but as far as I understood, you would like to talk to Prosecutor Tarmo Tanner.
Well, that's what she said I should talk to him, and she gave me his phone number.
Yes, this Maria Sevu is the secretary, and
Yeah.
she said she has talked before.
Okay, this is the first time. This is the first. Well, this is.
With two women today, have you?
This is the first time I've heard the name Tarmo or Tarmo, whoever it is, and so it's not. I didn't phone like she said that person I should talk to, and she gave me the phone number, and I just phoned the phone number, and it doesn't go through. So maybe I noted it down incorrectly or whatever. But I can give you my phone number and my Swiss phone. I can give you my. I'd like to give you.
Today, but I think he will be available about in an hour.
Okay, well, can I give you my phone number, Finnish phone number, and my Swiss phone number? So then there's two phone numbers to phone.
This 045 859 1457.
57, yeah.
Your number.
Yeah, and I have a Swiss phone number, so I'd like to give you that too.
Oh, this is number I got from, yeah.
Okay, well, plus,
In
I don't know, well, my Swiss number, just so that you have it noted down, because maybe, I don't know, maybe you can't get through to this.
I can't see your number here.
Well, that's because I phoned through Skype so it costs less.
Okay, that's why, yeah.
So, but for my Swiss number is plus 41 9
419.
40
Yeah,
37
yeah.
5.
What, V7 and...
What 511? Like, well, 41 is the country code, is the Swiss country code.
4194037 and the last one
511.
511, yes.
Yes.
Plus 41940375511.
Great. Yes.
This is your number in Switzerland.
Yeah. And my Finnish number should work too, but it's just in case it doesn't work.
Okay, is this your Finnish number 04585911457?
Yeah. Well, I'll repeat it. Well, 0458591457.
Yeah, yes, that's correct.
Great. So both numbers should work. Great.
Sorry?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.